Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and today we have a laundry detergent review as well as a candle haul of the new cocktail candles that have dropped this weekend, and then some other few knickknacks as well, and we'll get right into it. So yeah, first we have the laundry care sample launched this weekend. It's fabric care detergent in a concentrated formula, and I got the Sun Wash Santal, as you can see right there. On the back is that. This is 1 fluid ounces, and it's a very small amount, but it does say that for a small wash load you're supposed to use half the contents of the packet and then all of it for a large wash load. So I wanted to review it, so I have already done a load last night when I first received it. So Sun Wash Santal, you can redeem your free sample if you're an app member, and there's a barcode in the app and you can scan it and they'll give it. But they were giving it to pretty much everybody, even if you didn't have the app. Like in front of me, she just gave it to the lady. She's like, oh, even if you don't have the app, if you just sign up for it afterwards, that's fine, and I'll still give one to you. And so she gave it. And then today I went in a second day and they gave it to me without even scanning a barcode or anything. They just gave it to me at checkout. So I did get a second sun drenched linen, which I have not used yet because I just got this today. So, how did it perform? I did a medium-sized load and used the entire packet, and I like squeezed all of it out. And after washing and drying, there was absolutely no discernible fragrance whatsoever from the Sun Wash Santal. So I can't say that I can recommend this from a fragrance experience from the sample. I think they were kind of remiss in not offering a booster sample alongside the detergent sample, because a lot of times with detergent, even if it's fragrance, I don't necessarily get a heavy fragrance out of it coming out of the wash. It's usually from the fabric softener or a scent booster that gives the fragrance. So I wasn't necessarily expecting this to, like, you know, have a massive throw or lasting power to it, but this had zero. And you would think because they were giving a specific sample and pushing it so hard in the stores and all over their apps and social media, that at least a detergent would still have some fragrance to it, but that was absolutely not the case. So I think if you want some fragrance, at least with this fragrance, you would have to buy the booster with it to get it. The notes on this were Italian bergamot, white violet, and amberwood. It says our concentrated formula combines the science of stain fighting with perfumer creative fine fragrances to reimagine what clean laundry smells like. It's a concentrated formula that's high efficiency and cleans in cold water. And yeah, this kind of smells like a cross between the aromatherapy lavender vanilla, which has that sort of baby wipes type of feel to it, mixed with like a sort of powdery, woodsy floral you might expect from, I don't know, like a cozy cashmere type of fragrance is what I got from it. So like a mature, slightly feminine, woodsy floral, powdery fragrance is what this was. It was nice enough. Yeah, but because the detergent didn't do anything, like just from the sample, I wouldn't feel like this has any advantage over just picking up Tide or Gain or whatever you would get from the grocery store. So that was my review on the fabric care detergent. There was also sun drenched linen that I got on the second time around. I haven't used it, but that's what that looks like. There's also mahogany teakwood and 1,000 wishes. You can also go to Life Inside the Page's blog to see the entire list of all the fragrances that are coming out in laundry detergent as well as scent booster. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so let me know if you've used the laundry detergent yet and if you got any fragrance, but I think you kind of have to use the booster, so it is what it is. Moving on, we have candles. So it was annoying. I called one store that was like 50 minutes away, and I like made sure to call beforehand to see if they had the goods. And I asked them if they had Chasing Fireflies and Fall Forest, and they said yes. And I was like, okay, great. So like I can drive there and actually buy them. And she's like, yeah. And so I go all the way up there. I talk to the sales associate or the manager, whoever's on duty. And she's like, no, we don't have those. She's like, I haven't seen them. I don't think they've come in at all yet. I'm like, I literally just called like 30 minutes ago. Like, what do you mean? And so she's like, well, who was on the phone? I'm like, I don't know. They didn't say their name. And so she just like kind of like looks at me with a blank stare. So I give her another blank stare back. And then so she's like, oh, okay, well, let me go and check to see if somebody can locate it in the back. And they can, indeed, there they were. There was Fall Forest and Chasing Fireflies, but she said I could only buy it at full price, not sale price. It's like, that would have been really cool if you could have said that on the phone, so I didn't waste my gas and time all the way up here, and I have to go back down. So I did smell Chasing Fireflies. It was just another BBW body care fragrance. It had a really pretty packaging, and I think it was $29.95, unfortunately. But I don't really, it was a very brief sniff just because they wouldn't let me buy it. So it was kind of like under their supervision that I could smell it. So I couldn't do my like 2-minute dissection in the store. So I really just didn't have too much of an impression on it, but it was decent enough. It smelled like body care and I would probably buy just because the packaging is so pretty. And then Fall Forest. Smell like your usual run-of-the-mill type of tree fragrance. It had a little bit of reminiscence to like vanilla balsam, or like balsam and birch / white balsam and vanilla. I felt like even though the notes didn't list it, there was a slight like sweetness to it that seemed familiar, not super groundbreaking, but a nice, pleasant tree fragrance nonetheless. But once again, don't quote me on any of this because it was really a very, very, very brief sniff just because I couldn't spend a whole lot of time with it. But really annoying. So that store did have the Midnight Cocktails and the Whiskey Reserve and that stuff already out. And I had already put it in my bag, but I was like, no, based on principle alone, because they made me waste my time and gas all the way up here, I am just going to walk out and screw with their conversion by not actually buying and purchasing anything, and I'd rather take my business elsewhere. So that's exactly what I did. So I went to a local store the day after and got my Midnight Cocktails and Whiskey Reserve, and that's going to be the haul right now. So we have Midnight Cocktails right here. This is new, and it was out in some stores, but not in others. So I'm not really sure what the rhyme or reason is. This one says cedarwood, clove, and tobacco, and it's funny. They actually returned to giving us the like copywritten description on the bottom, which is kind of fun because it's just kind of like takes us back to the old Sotkin days. It says, enter a hidden world with innovative libations in every patron's hand as the soft scent of tobacco lingers in the air. This is $26.95. It's like a textured, like leathered looking wraparound on it. Interesting. Not something I would normally gravitate towards. They've been doing a lot of fragrances, honestly, that I don't gravitate towards because they really have changed their fragrance palette to stuff that was like gourmand and cutesy to more of that high-end stuff that we kind of see from like the luxury brands. It's just a transition over to like these drink scents and these like, you know, neutrals fragrances that are a little bit more earthy and not necessarily like a floral bakery, you know, cupcake that I'm normally into. And so yeah, but I guess I'm just trying to embrace the change because just in the same way you would get sick of eating the same food all the time, I guess there's something to be said for trying new fragrances all the time too. And just as me being a very avid and voracious candle collector, I think I still enjoy trying new fragrances and still burning them even if I don't love them. So this, you do definitely get a spiciness for sure, but it's like a sweet spiciness that I guess is coming from the clove maybe. And then sometimes like tobacco can have like a woodsy sweetness to it, and I think you get tobacco in there. It's like a very spicy tobacco fragrance that has a little bit of like a deep, almost like a boozy sweetness to it. It is very atmospheric and I do enjoy that. This is once again in those like kind of like dark antique libraries with leather chairs type of feel with a crackling fireplace. I love that type of atmospheric fragrance. I feel like I've smelled this like from a a Zara plus the Joe Malone collab, like those type of, you know, conceptual luxury fragrances. I feel like I've smelled something like that in those lines, but definitely not something from BBW that we've had previously in the usual cutesy type of way. Very, yeah, deep. I guess you could say it's boozy, woodsy, and sweet and spicy all at the same time. I would say, what was it? Ebony Sands that was out. That was a tobacco fragrance. And then we also had the tobacco flower candle many years back. I think when like salted vanilla and coconut leaves was also in that collection too. And it has that like tobacco flower or like the other type of like the tobacco that doesn't smell like cigarettes. It often has like almost like this like a shaving cream floral woodsy feel to it, and I get that in here. But yeah, once again, not something I would normally gravitate towards, but like this would also be awesome like October, November when it's like presumably cool out, and it's just like a very moody like nighttime candle to light. That would be really fun. So Midnight Cocktails, as it compares to we have Scotch Lounge here, and these are so out of my wheelhouse, so just bear with me. This is Scotch, rolled cigars, and oud wood. This is way more, I would say like smoky maybe, and more dry, and doesn't have the spicy sweetness that the Midnight Cocktails has. Yeah, This one smells a little bit more like actual like cigars rather than like tobacco flower mixed with spiciness. So that was the difference there. It's certainly not this. And then we also have tobacco and oud right here, and that's what that looks like. This one was fresh tobacco leaves, vetiver and oud wood. This smells more like shaving cream. This is like kind of like the shaving cream floral thing that I was talking about with tobacco flower / tobacco notes, but this is much spicier and sweeter. And this one's a little bit more, honestly, like, I guess, powdery, fresh, clean, maybe. Yeah. So definitely not this either. So I think that is indeed a new fragrance. It even comes in a wallflower. So yeah, I think just these drink fragrances are like, once again, similar to how Amalfi was the trend during springtime. This must be the trend for the fall time, because I see like drink fragrances now all over like the TJ Maxx Home Goods candles as well. Whiskey this, tobacco that, like all over the place. So that must be, I swear there has got to be like some industry convention or trend or report or something that these home fragrance companies abide by, because they always tend to hover around the same trends. I honestly like have an appreciation for companies who don't chase those obvious trends as much. But I understand it's retail, so you want to chase the trends that are mass appeal. So that's just me being, you know, different. So that was Midnight Cocktails. Not my favorite, but still interesting enough, so I did get it. We then got Whiskey Reserve, which I do have the body care of this. This was a men's fragrance. Was it last year, a year before? I don't really remember. This one has that similar like that Roach Wing collection type of like glossy, like lacquer, like that type of finish to it, lacquer, whatever that's called, with like a sleeve that is a leather, you know, texture to it. So Whiskey Reserve, crisp apple, single malt whiskey, and white oak. It has the core wicks on it. This is, I went back and forth on this. I was like, do I really need this? But it was still like interesting that I still got it. I like the apple gives it a juiciness. I think if you enjoy mahogany apple, it's a similar type of feel in the sense that it's a very masculine men's cologne fragrance mixed with a sweet apple. So it's not too far off from mahogany apple. They are two different distinct fragrances, but similar in the sense the apple and the masculine cologne mingle together. And this one has that action going on. So yeah, it's definitely like a cologne type fragrance, but it literally just smells like the Whiskey Reserve men's body care. So that's that right there. I feel like this would be really strong because it's pretty intense on cold. And then I was like, oh my god, I haven't had this candle in forever, and it smelled really good this time around, and so I got Cozy Cashmere, believe it or not. I believe this was actually Sunlit Cashmere when it came out in that collection that had the butterscotch toffee in it as well. But I think this Sunlit Cashmere and Sea Island Blossom are all the same, which once again goes to show you the crazy power of marketing and mood making they do with the names and packaging, because like Sea Island Blossom would indicate some tropical, you know, powdery puff paradise flower fragrance. Sunlit Cashmere is supposed to be out in the sun, and this is supposed to be cozy during like, you know, cool fall weather and speakeasy moodiness. So it's just crazy how much you know, marketing they do to these fragrances. Smooth lavender, warm vanilla, pink jasmine, and comforting sandalwood. The thick rope-like wicks on this one. This one has been out many times, but it just smells particularly delicious and juicy this time around. It's a very powdery floral that I would assume is coming from both the jasmine and, was it the lavender? Yeah. And then there's also a like sort of sophisticated, mature, powdery vanilla in there as well, and a bit of woodsy component underneath. But it's still like feminine enough in like a perfumey type of way that I quite enjoy it. Yeah, this is totally Sunlit Cashmere. I haven't had it since it was Sunlit Cashmere, so kind of excited to dig into this again. It's nice. It's very kind of like a powdery floral, and we don't get that a whole lot anymore unless it's like full-blown body care, so we'll see how that goes. And then I have no idea what I was thinking, but actually in my region it was buy one get one, so I couldn't just buy them $12.95 straight up. So unfortunately I had to do them in sets of 2, and I was like, oh my god, what do I get? And I was like, okay, let me just get this and call it a day. So we have Vampire Blood. It's like the one remaining Halloween candle that I did not have. And this one says Blood Red Strawberry, Midnight Blooming Jasmine, and Dark Transylvanian Plum. This one has thick rope-like wicks this time around. I've had a Vampire Blood before, I think the very first year it came out, and it didn't burn very well. So I was like, let me try it this time around and see how it goes. I've been kind of slightly coming around to the fruity fragrances. Like I really actually enjoyed Girlfriend, and then another candle that I'm gonna talk about here in real soon that I really enjoyed as well. Very juicy berry and plum fragrance, but there's something a little bit, it's very juicy and like quenching, but there's something a little bit off about it, which I guess is supposed to be the jasmine, but there's like almost like a bitterness to it that's not quite full-on fruity that gives it some extra depth to it. But very fruity, but we'll see how that goes. I just haven't had this in forever, so I was like, let me get it and see how it does. So Vampire Blood right there. Let's see. So a lot of that was paid with gift cards because it was my birthday recently, and I had a number of gift cards. So on a different trip, this was a while back, I was jonesing for some more BWC, because who doesn't need some more BWC in their life? And so I got this off of the clearance 50% off table, courtesy of a gift card, so thank you so much. And Sweet Summer Berries, Golden Waffle Cone, and Creamy Vanilla. We all know what this is. Amazing, love it, excellent, crusty berry, buttery fragrance. This version performs amazing and excellent. This is actually my third one, believe it or not. I finished one, it was just perfection all the way down to the bottom. Never had to trim the wicks, even wax pool, just absolute excellent, strong throw, amazing. And not all BWCs all perform super great, so when you do come across a BWC that it is good, then yeah, stick to it. And then, once again, I don't know what came over me, but what was happening was I had that Sunset Glow body wash, which is a cherry fragrance, and I've been really into that. Sunset Glow is actually quite juicy. I enjoy that one so much. And I was like, I would love to have a cherry candle to burn alongside Sunset Glow when I'm using it in the shower and when I come out. But I don't have hardly any cherry candles that I can think of in my collection. And so I was like, let me get some Firecracker Pop. So I did that, and that's what that looks like. This has a very like pretty firework luminary wraparound on it, which is cool when it lights up. And this one says red cherry, fresh citrus, and juicy berry. I normally hate fragrances like this. They're just like so basic and cherry and fruity, but this is actually super awesome and refreshing and delicious. I just really enjoy it. It's so like refreshing but sweet and fruity for the summertime, and I've been really enjoying Firecracker Pop, and it performs and throws well, so I'm all about that. So that was that. I really enjoy pairing this cherry fragrance with different almond fragrances, so I will burn this alongside, like, let's say Almond Blossom, which was the online exclusive, to get a cherry almond feel, and that was nice. Also, Honey Drizzled Baklava from Homeworks is a honey pistachio type of fragrance, and those notes tend to blend very well with cherry as well in like a cherry almond type of way. So I've been really getting my life with those combos with this, because this one's just kind of like just plain fruity, and I want a little bit more, so I pair it with something else to give it some extra juiciness. And then lastly, because it was my birthday earlier in the month, I had the birthday reward where you get a free travel size $9.95 body care item or whatever, and so I redeemed it for Endless Sea right here. That's what that looks like. This was actually really strong when I used it on my hand. Like, I can still smell it on my hands, which normally doesn't necessarily happen with all the shower gels. Fresh, clean, floral, mixed with a little bit of like melon and apple maybe to give it like an aquatic marine action to it. Not bad, but nothing like, oh my god, wow, I need to stock up on, but it's serviceable. So Endless Sea right there. And I think that is it. Yes, so now I'm just waiting for friggin' Chasing Fireflies, which was in my hands and at that store, but I couldn't get it unless it was full price, which I'm not gonna do that. So just waiting for that in Fall Forest. And then there's also that Cool Mountain Rain and Pumpkin Oakwood and Pumpkin Creme collection also coming out. Harvest Gathering, I think that's somewhere around the corner as well. And then we'll have Fall 2 probably another month after that with all that stuff that's testing in Atlanta right now with the Praline Delight and the Apricot Bake thing. And we'll go from there. Also looking forward to Leaves Body Care as well. I have like a million rewards that I've just been waiting to use on some juicy fall body cares. I'll most certainly get Leaves with those rewards. So that's pretty much it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.